Hi, it's Bill the Handyman up here in Northern California. How you doing today? Well, thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to talk about putting a clutch in this is going to be a Craftsman Weedwacker. And so basically on this one there's only 3 nuts that hold this shaft on. So we take those off. And this is actually the old clutch, so I've taken this apart already. And it's basically a centrifugal clutch. The faster it goes, the more the shoes will spread out and grab on the bell. This is the bell. It's attached to this cable here, which runs the end of the Weedwacker. And so this thing seems a little loose here. I have to check that. But anyway, on this one here, basically the idea is to hold the shaft in place. There may be another way to do this, but basically you need to hold the drive shaft in place while you first take the screw out of the center of this. There's a screw in the center of this. It's not just slide off. There's a screw in here, and it's going to be a torque screw, and you're going to have to get your little torques set out and find out which one it is exactly. It's a pretty small one, and so basically stick your Torx driver in there, and then you'll take that screw out. It's a regular right-handed thread. So once you've taken that out, you can pull your bell off. And you can see on this clutch here, it has an arrow pointing that way for off. So basically, this is going to be this is also a regular right-handed thread. So they're both right-handed threads on this that hold it in. And you can see what I use. Okay, so here's my Torx. Actually, the Torx is like the star, right? So that Torx, it's going to be, what is it? A T20. Yeah, it's a T20. It goes in here. Take that screw off and pull the bell off. Okay, so that's your T20. Now, in order to hold this drive shaft still, typically what we do is we'll put some rope inside the cylinder. So be careful with that. What I had to do is, I had this loose end here, and the loose end for some reason got stuck in between the cylinder and the piston. And so I had it all back together, and then but I couldn't pull the stopper out of the cylinder because it was wedged in there. Some of this loose edge here got caught between the piston and the cylinder and wouldn't let me pull it out. So I had to disassemble it again and sort of take my crescent wrench and sort of jiggle this back and forth while I pulled on the rope to pull it out. So I got it out. So basically what we need to do now is, we got the new clutch on already. Make sure you don't get any grease or dirt on this clutch. And so we're going to sort of put her back together. We got our star or Torx, and we're just going to screw back in. So that's basically your clutch installation for your Craftsman Weedwacker. Okay, so here's your end piece. And so basically this is what your end piece looks like. This piece here, it's on here, like that. The motor will spin that. And then that gear will mesh with this gear and then spin the eater. And so on this one, basically we have like 5-6 screws that hold this together. Simply goes on like that. And then this screw, the smaller screw here, will hold this basically in place so it doesn't flop this way. And you can see that these ends here are not too mangled up. And this end here has a pretty nice square on it. So I think we can still use these parts here. And we're going to take and put a nice blob of grease on these gears here, this gear area in here, just to make sure that's nice and lubed up, and will stay lubed up. Work it around in there to make sure everything's going to be rolling smooth. And then we want to make sure that all these pieces of grass around the shaft are quite thick in there and wrapped around pretty tight. And no doubt putting some pressure on this shaft from moving the way it should be. So we want to make sure and cut all that grass out of there so that that shaft can move freely. Get all that grass out of there. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at mrmaintain@yahoo.com. Excuse me, mrmaintain@hotmail.com. If this video saved you some money, please send me a donation. It's Bill's Enterprises, P.O. Box 7021, Eureka, California 95502. Thanks for watching.